Hello everyone and welcome to yet another episode of the interview line. आपका प्यार और समर्थन हमारे लिए बहुत मायने रखता है, तो हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करने के लिए, हमारे वीडियोस पर कमेंट करने के लिए, उन्हें शेयर करने के लिए और लाइक करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Through interview line we bring fascinating people to you जो अपने जीवन में अपने अलग अलग पोटेंशियल्स को, अलग अलग क्षमताओं को एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं और कुछ को मोनेटाइज भी कर रहे हैं, अपने लिए अलग अलग आमदनी के जरिए बना रहे हैं। Today also we have someone unique on this channel who is someone who has explored many potentials in her. अगर आप उनमें से हैं जो बच्चे होने के बाद में करियर ब्रेक लेने से हिचकिचाते हैं, या आपने अगर करियर ब्रेक लिया और लगता है कि जिस तरह से पहले अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती थी अब शायद ना मिले, तो आपकी सोच आज बदलने वाली है। Through different things in our lives, and Tarveen Saha is an example who's going to share that when you take a step back from your career to focus on bringing up your children, there's so many things that you can do, from insurance agency to HR consulting to MA psychology program, as well as working in an animal hospital and learning musical instruments. Tarveen created new options for herself and then decided to go back to the corporate world where she had belonged before taking a choice of stepping back. So let's welcome Tarveen Saha on the interview line on this channel. Tarveen was in a corporate career for 5 years when they decided to expand family and welcome their son into this world. उसके बाद तरवीन ने 9 साल का करियर ब्रेक लिया, बट उसको हम क्या जरूर में करियर ब्रेक कहेंगे या कि एक ऐसा समय कहेंगे जब उन्होंने अपने अलग अलग टैलेंट्स को एक्सप्लोर किया। सो वेलकम तरवीन ऑन द इंटरव्यू लाइन।
Hi, Navita. Thank you so much for such a nice introduction. And it's such a good feeling to be a part of Unakriti. And I have been watching your videos, and to be a part of it is actually, exciting. And love your videos, love the way you all have been covering different topics, different people. And to be a part of it is equally honor. Thank you so much, Navita.
We are also honored with the kind words that you have just shared, Tarveen. So as we understand, and our interactions have been going on for a while, that you were part of a corporate job and then you decided to take a conscious break for almost 9 years before getting back to a corporate job again. So how was that journey for you? Did you explore new things in those 9 years, or did something else happen? So we would love to hear all about your exploration of, finding different talents in you.
Well, to start with, yes, the decision was a very conscious decision to take a break. But how long a break? वो पहले decide नहीं हुआ था. So when I went into my typical leave, which I had got, I went for 4 to 5 months. I was quite confident, मैं 5 महीने बाद वापस join कर लूँगी. But it wasn't the case. 5 महीने, छोटा सा baby, and I was like, can I leave him behind? I don't think so. जब मैं ही नहीं handle कर पाती इतना छोटी सी life को, and how can I just leave him behind? So that was a time, I started pushing my decision. चलो और 5 महीने देखते हैं, फिर और 5 महीने देखते हैं. But 5 करते करते my bonding went on increasing. So I could not think of starting or going back to my corporate career. Thankfully, they told, okay, we'll wait for you, probably you need some more time. So you might go on an unpaid leave. We have got no issues with that. आई सेड ओके लेट मी एक्सप्लोर दैट. तो मैंने 1 साल और देख लिया, बट नहीं, मुझसे नहीं हो पा रहा था, मुझसे वो डिसीजन ही नहीं लिया जा रहा था कि मैं वापस अपने बेबी को छोड़ के चली जाऊं. I went back. I told my organization, thank you so much. I don't think so. I can continue, and why to block this thing for me? So I said, thank to them, and it came back home. And for till the time my son was 3 years, Navita, मेरे दिमाग में और कुछ आया ही नहीं, because my life was in and around him only. You know, to be with him, capture every moment, live every moment, play everything with him. So I was enjoying that. एक एक चीजें जो हम टिपिकली कहते हैं, बच्चे का पहला बोलना, पहला खेलना, पहले दिन स्कूल का, एंड एवरीथिंग, आई एंजॉय दैट. So I have got no regrets for that. That yes, I'm happy. I took my conscious decision, and honestly, in that decision, my husband also supported me. He said, "It's your decision. Whatever you want, you go ahead. I'm okay with anything. You want to work, we can do that. You don't want to work, that's also okay." I said, "Okay, fine. Then my decision is taken. I will not do my work right now." And then time started flowing, 3 years, and then uh, after my son started going to a proper school, that is the time जब आपको दिन में 2 या 3 घंटे मिलने शुरू हो गए, पहले kindergarten, play school and all that, तब आप सोचने लग जाते हो कि okay, I can start now exploring different options. So that is how it started, the journey of thinking, if I can do something else beyond a full-time corporate job, and that is how it started.
Yeah, I think you brought out a very significant point of decision making, Tarveen, from your journey. Because when I have been working with women who have taken the family path, uh, हर तरह के opinions मुझे मिले हैं. I have heard women share, it's so heartbreaking for me to leave my 5 to 6 months old baby at home and continue working. But when they have to decide that, I should take a break, there are social norms associated with ambition and career and moving ahead. And as we can clearly see from your journey, it is not something that you jump in with the mindset that now I'm going to take a break for so long. It's a decision that evolves. In your case, also, I can say that you had taken a normal break, as people put it. Your employer was waiting for you. They were willing to tell you, go on leave without pay and we'll wait for you, but still that decision was not easy for you to go ahead and leave your kid behind with a caretaker or with anyone else and continue to be on your path of profession only. There were difficult moments in between. So in those, after your son turned 3 years old, is that when your quest to go back to a corporate world or pick up a full-time job started, or was it something different for you? Did you explore newer things, or was it something that, okay, I'm going to take my time? What was that phase like for you?
So the moment the thought came in, and that came in obviously when I started getting initially those 3 hours. So पहले तो वो 3 घंटे अच्छे लगते थे, मैंने कहा चलो मैं आराम करूंगी everything. But as time went on, then you start thinking, अब और क्या, कुछ तो करना चाहिए. So that is a time when the exploring of different thoughts came in. But yes, definitely full time job तो सोचा ही नहीं. मेरे दिमाग में यही था कि something to use only for those 3 hours, nothing beyond that. Now you can say the struggle started, क्योंकि doing something in those 3 hours is not that readily options that you get कि आपको इतने meaty options मिल जाए. So as usual, मेरे भी discussions हुए, immediate family, friends, सबके साथ, that discussion happens when you start thinking about it. The only thing, Navita, that comes back as an option to you is आप ट्यूशन स्टार्ट कर लो, आप एक काम करो, खाना अच्छा बनाती हो, तुम टिफिन सर्विस शुरू कर लो. You know, I was not that artistic kinds, but yes, there were people like, drawing classes, EA classes. So everything was around that. There was no other option. There was no option of doing a part-time work from home option given from organizations. वो था ही नहीं. So corporate was not into that mode of hiring women to do work from home. you know Coming back, I always say the biggest good part about the COVID thing is, organizations have opened up the fact that work from home can happen, and double productivity can be achieved from the employees because you are totally at your own comfort zone. And unfortunately, it wasn't that few years back. Few years back, it was a challenge for all of us. So कीपिंग दोज थिंग्स इन माइंड, मेरे पास ज्यादा ऑप्शंस मिले नहीं, सो मेरे को भी वही लिमिटेड ऑप्शंस में एक्सप्लोर करना पड़ा. So the first option which someone told me was, why don't you start, have an insurance agency? So nothing much is required. You need to give an exam and get a license, and then you can sell policies. I wasn't that much convinced, but आपके पास था क्या ऑप्शन? मेरे पास ज्यादा ऑप्शंस थे नहीं. तो आई सेड ओके, लेट मी गिव इट अ ट्राई. मैंने पढ़ाई की, एग्जाम दिया, लाइसेंस आया, एंड मेरे अंदर में आई रियलाइज नाउ द बिग थिंग वाज, you have to sell a policy to a person. And I was like, okay, how do I do that? I don't think so. I'm a kind of person जो sales या marketing में किसी को कोई चीज जाके बेच सकता है. So thankfully, again, as usual, आपके friends, आपके family, they come to you as a support. कोई ना कोई एक policy ले ली सबने. But that did not give me a kick. I was like, okay, this is not something which excites me. I mean, at the end of the day, एक satisfaction नाम की भी चीज होती है. कोई काम आप कर रहे हो, उसमें आपको एक satisfaction मिलनी चाहिए. And I realized, no, this is not what gives me a kick. So let me explore something else. So that, that from that point, my typical quest, as you said, went to the different level. Okay, अब क्या करना चाहिए? So by that point of time, you can say my son was equally, 5 years old. One day I got a call from one of my friend, and he was working in an animal hospital. And he said, there's a vacancy, and do you think you want to do that? And I said, full-time job? He said, yes, it would be full-time. So say for morning 9:30 to 6:30. And I was not mentally ready for it. You know, my son was just 5 years old. मैं उसको छोड़ के एक full-time job तो मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आया था. So I had a lot of discussion with my husband, and obviously again with more friends, and we like, okay, let's give it a try. देखते तो हैं क्या होता है. But दिमाग में, नहीं बेबी तो छोटा है, 5 साल का ही तो है, इतना तो बड़ा हुआ नहीं है, he still needs me. And स्कूल उसका 12:30 तक होता है, तो मतलब वो 6 घंटे डे केयर में रहेगा. So those type of thoughts started surrounding me. But I said, okay, let's see. दुनिया भी काम कर रही है, हम भी करके देखते हैं क्या होता है. So I started working over there. I enjoyed. See, work was, I definitely enjoyed. But the whole thought, when I used to pick my son from the daycare, या आप एक गिल्ट फैक्टर बोलो या कुछ भी बोलो, वो दिमाग में आता था कि नहीं, I don't think so I'm doing justice to it. And there was a struggle at that point of time. Things were not that developed in Gurgaon. Transport was not that easy. So I had my own fight traveling to the work and coming back. So that point of time, I worked for 3 months. It was not easy, I will say. But 3 months was enough for me to decide, no, I don't think so. This is the right time to step out and leave my son. So I quit that job. No regrets, nothing. I was happy to be, again a full-time mom. And I said, okay, let me try something more now. So that's how then, then I started in the next stage. So next stage, to tell you, I explored the option of voiceover. I mean, because my son and I used to learn different instruments. Like I used to learn guitar, he used to learn keyboard, and through one of the music contacts, we were told that why don't you try voiceover? I was like, voiceover? What's voiceover? I mean, I know that that's dubbing typically. That's the सीधा जो वर्ड हमें समझ आता है वो तो डबिंग ही होती है ना. तो वॉइस ओवर में क्या होगा? तो देन मुझे बताया गया, आपको पता है आजकल कितनी डिजिटाइजेशन हो गई है, बुक्स कितनी डिजिटाइज्ड हो गई हैं, उसके पीछे एक आवाज चाहिए होती है. सो यू हैव टू बेसिकली रिकॉर्ड द एंटायर बुक in a audio format. And then I explored that option of voiceover. And Navita, I mean, we get to know these options and we think, okay, let's try. Again, coming back to it, sounds easy, but not that easy. It involved traveling to the studio, doing the recording over there, and again coming back. And recording is not easy. You have to maintain the flow. You have to make sure the tone is, perfect. It was exciting, but not easy. So I explored that option and I did like it, but my only challenge was traveling, which comes up because traveling all the way from Gurgaon to Delhi to a studio, it's time taking and tiring at the same time. But then we explored option when I was suggested that you can do the recording at home also. And thankfully, my husband helped in doing the setup at home. And I started the recording part at my house. It was interesting. आप खुद recording कर रहे हो and घर में बैठे बैठे comfort zone में and explore किया मैंने वो option भी. So कोई individual चाहे तो वो भी कर सकता है. But then I explored that option also. I did voice over recording at home. चैलेंज ये है कि आप ही उसकी क्यूसी करते हो, आप ही उसकी एडिटिंग करते हो, फिर आप उसको भेजते हो. तो अच्छा लगा मुझे, मैंने वो काम भी किया, रिकॉर्डिंग की. बट फ्यू मंथ्स आई विल से फ्यू मंथ्स डाउन द लाइन, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे आप काम करते हो पैसे के लिए एंड मनी वाज नॉट फ्लोइंग इन द सेम फ्लो as the work was being delivered. So then I was like, I don't think so, because इसमें मुझे वो डिफरेंट टाइम जोन्स में काम करना पड़ता था कि आस-पास में शांति हो, डिस्टर्बेंस ना हो. कभी-कभी तो मैं रात को बैठती थी रिकॉर्डिंग करने के लिए, जब सब सो जाते हैं, कोई आवाज़ नहीं है, सो दैट आराम से मैं रिकॉर्डिंग कर सकूँ, सराउंडिंग्स की आवाज़ ना हो. I was ready to do, that extra thing also, but because of the monetary factors, which was not coming in the equal proportions, तो मैंने फिर उसको बैक आउट तब कर दिया. So that's how, different aspects of different options came in. I explored one more option of doing my, further studies at that point of time. कि चलो पढ़ाई की जाए. Because when I used to talk to people, my friends, my ex-colleagues, आप बातें करते हो एंड हमारे यहाँ पे पता क्या होता है, टिपिकली जब आप किसी से बात करते हो कुछ होता है, हम लोग बहुत जल्दी अपनी ओपिनियन भी देते हैं. तुम्हें तो इस काम में होना चाहिए, कहते हैं ना, कि कभी कुछ कर रहे हैं तो इस काम में होगा तो बहुत अच्छा करेगा. किसी ने खाना बनाया तो तुझे शेफ बनना चाहिए. So जब I used to talk to people, people used to come back and say, you should be a counselor. You help me sort out the problems so easily. Okay, दिमाग में एक और चीज आई, ये भी कर सकते हैं, तो उसके लिए तो फिर तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा, आपको क्वालिफिकेशन चाहिए होगी. तो ठीक है, पढ़ाई करते हैं. So then I got enrolled into my MS psychology on the distance education and पढ़ाई शुरू कर दी. It was fun. मैंने पढ़ाई की and मजा आया, क्योंकि पहले हमने पढ़ाई out of pressure की थी, जब मम्मी पापा बोलते थे पढ़ लो पढ़ लो. But this time पढ़ाई, it was on your own decision. अच्छा लगा वो 2 साल पढ़ाई के, interacting, meeting different people, different students. And डिस्टेंस में क्या होता है, डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन में आपको वीक में एक डे आप कॉलेज जाते हो, अपने डाउट्स पूछते हो, कॉलेज जाना, वो लोगों से मिलना अच्छा लगा. दैट वाज वेरी नाइस, दैट वाज अ रियली रिफ्रेशिंग थिंग इन माय लाइफ, इफ आई हैव टू से दैट. So I explored that. I did my completed my post graduation in psychology. And what next? You have to do something. uh, I did my internship in the school. I did internship for around 1 month over there, and I spent a lot of time with the students. And बट पता है, हर बच्चे को देखती थी ना तो मुझे अपना बच्चा नजर आता था. मेरे अंदर में अगेन दैट थिंग वाज स्टिल देयर, कि मैं वो 1 महीने के लिए भी मैं इंटर्नशिप करने गई तो घूम फिर के मेरे दिमाग में अपना, माय सन यूज्ड टू कम बैक. मुझे अपने बच्चे के पास जाना है. आई वाज स्टिल नॉट कंफर्टेबल बिकॉज options I was getting to join the schools, as a counselor. But again, I was not quite that comfortable because maybe that was not my venue. I realized that after 1 or 2 months, and but came back again. When I say came back, it's again coming back to the same place where you left. So I left over there, and I saw that I have done a lot. Time has been going on. So, ab kya? Then I got one more option in between. That was working as an HR consultant. So by that point of time, there were a lot of HR consultants who were providing good candidates to the organization to fill up the positions. So thankfully, I got one of that option. So one of the friend approached me and she said, "Why not? Why don't you try? You'll be at home. Call up from your workspace. अपना घर ही आपका ऑफिस है. घर से अपने आप करो." So पहले तो सुनने में तो आपको सब कुछ आसान ही लगता है, तो मैंने वो भी ट्राई किया. And it was a very learning experience. I saw the other side of what the HR does. Generally आप हमेशा इस साइड में होते हो, आप इंटरव्यू दे रहे होते हो, उस साइड में क्या होता है वो आपको दिखा. ये भी होता है. How they have to go through the hard work of picking up the right resumes, calling them up, checking if they're interested. If they're interested, lining up them for the interviews, and not just one interview. If you're selected, second interview, third interview, then they have to get the offer letter. जब तक वो ज्वाइन नहीं करते तब तक आपकी कमीशन जो आपने पोजीशन फिल की है वो आपकी कमीशन भी आपकी फिक्स नहीं होती है. It's not easy. So but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed those 6 months of filling up positions for various profiles, and I realized that we say that market में job नहीं है, but trust me, market में matching capabilities वाले भी लोग नहीं होते इतने आसान से, क्योंकि हम जनरली हम इस साइड में क्रिब मारते हैं कि नहीं jobs नहीं है. But there's a struggle when you're looking for the right candidate. It doesn't come out so easy. So in 9 years, this is what I all explored. If you ask me, just to keep myself engaged, because I did not want to do a full-time job. So since I did not want to do a full-time job and I want to utilize that hours, I explored all these options which I just now told you.
Hmm. So I hear from exploring an insurance agency to learning musical instruments to working in an animal hospital in customer service to doing a full-time MA program in psychology to exploring HR consulting. These are few things that I heard you say. And the way I get it is that maybe they were not only done from the point of view of keeping yourself engaged and busy, you were constantly finding an alternate way of also earning, alternate way of making money, which will give you flexibility in the time that you wanted to do. Voiceover is another thing that you mentioned, you explored at that point in time. Creating flexibility, seeking for what needs to be sought to create that environment where you do get to use and explore your talents and earn money also. One thing which also becomes very clear from your sharing is that when we are exploring multiple potentials in us, it's not that straightforward. Let me pick this and I will start to make money. It's a quest. It's also a process of elimination, that this is something that excites me. This is not what excites me. I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it. I need to find happiness as well. So after exploring all these things for 9 years, as you rightly said, some to keep yourself engaged, some to bring new skills, also taking all the suggestions, when was that moment when you said, okay, I want to get back into the corporate world with a full-time job? And how was that beginning for you again? Was it easy? Was it challenging? What followed next?
Yes, this is somewhere around, I'll say, when my son was 9 years old. So when I changed his school, so coincidentally, the new school had very different timings. You can say typical like a office timings. It was more of a day boarding school. So the school timings from 9 in the morning till around 2:30 to 3 o'clock. So we changed the school for his betterment, for his more development, because that school had more options. So after change the school, this thought came in my mind. Now that he's going from 9 to 3 o'clock, he comes back, he's tired, he has his lunch, he goes off to sleep, and then he goes to play. So there is no requirement of me as a mother in that 9 to 6 time slot. So when I saw this schedule, that is the time, Navita, this thought came into my mind. I guess this is the right time to now explore a full time corporate job, because my son will not have that typical mummy requirement, because it's the only story of that 3 to 6. And those 3 to 6 maybe is just having his lunch, sleeping, and playing. So I guess I would not go into that guilt now. It would be a very accepting decision for me, if I have to say that. Because अब तक क्या था कि मैं एक उसमें रहती थी कि गिल्ट में थी कि नहीं, शायद बेबी छोटा है and everything. But by that point of time, my son was, I can say big, that he could communicate, he could talk what is his problem. As a parent, you are always in that fear, my child should be safe, he or she should not be, hurt in any inappropriate way. So I had reached to that comfort zone by that point of time, and I realized, okay, I guess this is the time I can start thinking into the option of a full-time corporate job. But it's a thought. It's not that जिस दिन मैंने सोचा उस दिन मुझे जॉब मिल गई कि मार्केट में बैठे people waiting for you. No, it's not that. Till now you were not into that frame of mind, but the moment you decided, now the second phase of the struggle starts, because there was a 9 year gap in the biodata. All that thing that I discussed with you, obviously I cannot put it down into a CV, because those are not accountable. And in my CV, it was straight away a 9 years gap which was showing. And organizations are not that willing, or you can say daring, to fill up position with a person who has got a 9 year break. With no offense made to the organization, definitely after having worked through that HR stint of 6 months, I understood that they also have their own insecurities. Why? Because they cannot differentiate between a person who is genuinely taken a 9 year break, or who has taken a break because of his potential of not performing well in his or her job. So definitely I'm not blaming the organizations, but yes, my struggle started over there when I had to actually go to different organizations, send my CVs are not getting accepted, because why? The first level of the screening itself, I was not qualified to it. So it was a big fight. And I definitely at times went into, you can say, sort of thought process, will I not get a job? I mean, was that a wrong decision? That, that I had no idea that I will not get a job after that. So my problem was, because I'll tell you what, I was looking for MNCs. So I had a round of discussions again, family, friends, and all. And, I was given this idea that, please widen your search. You have narrowed down your search. So this constraint is, giving you limited options. So then I opened up my search, and I thought, okay, let me explore, different organizations. And thankfully, one of the organization clicked at that point of time. And thankfully I went through, first, second, third round of interviews and all that. So that is how I can say that yes, it went ahead, and finally it materialized into a job. And just to add, the final question, at the interview, when the organization head was interviewing me, he just asked me one thing. You had a 9 years break. So would you be comfortable, after this? I said, it's up to you. I mean, I am ready to take that leap, but you need to have the trust factor. I'm going ahead with it. I have got no worries. But the one thing which he told me, see, we are totally convinced to take you, but you have to be accepting to one thing, that you will be reporting to a person who would be junior to you by age. So, for a minute, I was quiet because that thought had never come into my mind. Okay, I mean, I have to think for that step also. I was only looking for a job. But when he told me that you have to report to a person who is younger in age to you, are you okay with that? I thought about it. I was like, I guess I'm fine. मुझे काम करना है, मुझे काम से मतलब है. जिसको मैं रिपोर्ट कर रही हूँ वो मुझसे 10 साल बड़ा हो या 10 साल छोटा हो, मुझे उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. काम तो काम ही है. And I gave my consent, and that's how I started my resumed my second innings of my career and my corporate life.
Yeah, and from the way you have shared your experience of, arriving at a decision which happened more naturally when you realized that you had the almost full day, which typically is qualified as a working day, to yourself. You were able to detach from the role as a mother and seeing your son becoming more grown up, more independent, and it's okay now to focus on yourself as much as you want. That naturally arrived on its own. But finding the right options did require you to relook at how you're positioning yourself, relook at the companies that you are targeting, and how the world outside can be with regard to आप किन के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, उनका एक्सपीरियंस लेवल कैसा है, आप किन कंपनीज में काम कर रहे हैं, आपका जॉब रोल कैसा है. काफी चीजें उसमें आई. इवन दो यू टोल्ड मी दैट नो 9 साल जो आप अवे रही अपने कॉर्पोरेट करियर से, on the CV it is shown as a gap. I still don't believe it's a gap because you did do so many things at that point in time, and we can leverage those experiences, like to showcase our skills that have been developed at that point in time. So I want to ask you, the things that you picked up to explore different talents in you, and eventually then going back to the job, do you think anything that you did, whether it was HR consulting, MA psychology, being an insurance agent, or working at a hospital or school, came handy or comes handy now when you're working again at a senior position in a company? Do you see any value addition of those experiences for you?
Yes, sir, definitely, Navita. Nothing that you learn in life or you experience in life doesn't come to you as handy. It is, it is used in any normal day-to-day scenario, but you should be able to utilize it at the right time. So if you ask me, all those 9 years of experience, did it come handy? Definitely. I might not have pursued my career as a counselor after doing psychology, MA in psychology, but that subject taught me human behavior. That subject taught me how to deal with different individuals. Earlier, my thought process was centered around me. कि मैं ऐसा सोचती हूँ. Now I started thinking what the other person is thinking, and even the other person can be right. There is no final thing that I'm thinking is the right thing, another person thinking in that way is the wrong thing. No. So that aspect of the knowledge helped me dealing with with human challenges when we are interacting with different people. It is definitely handy. It obviously it came to a lot of use to me even dealing with my son, who's growing up and changing, it is in moving to different stages from a toddler to a young one and to a teenager. It has helped me even dealing with him, those it's always a handy thing. Then my HR job which I had done. Definitely, when I started my job again and I had to make my own team, I had to hire individuals. That experience came handy to me. I knew now what's the right things. I knew the shortcuts, that how to get the right person, because I had struggled and I had learned and had mastered it. So now I knew how I could hire people, my team members. Thankfully, I was able to hire good team members in my job. So everything comes to you useful in some other way. Again, talking about voiceover, I had one good example in one of my organization where I worked. So they planned to make an advertisement, and they said, we need to have a voice for the IVR that we are setting in. So you have that experience. So would you want to be that voice for that IVR? Said, okay, not bad. So that option came handy to the organization also. They used my learnings over there. So I did that part of job also, which came into use, and I'm sure कहीं ना कोई चीजें काम आ ही जाती हैं. तो मेरे को अगर आप पूछोगे एज एन इंडिविजुअल, नो रिग्रेट्स, एंड आई एम श्योर आई एक्सप्लोर्ड ऑल द ऑप्शंस एंड आई वाज मोर क्लियर what excites me and what type of job excites me. Wherever I am, that gives me an excitement. That type of job, gives me a kick. I love it. And all my knowledge, all my experience comes handy in any situation. So I guess we should, explore, keep on trying. You never know. जब तक आप कोई चीज करोगे नहीं, आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कि वो आपके लिए सही है कि नहीं है.
बिल्कुल सही बात बोली कि जब तक हम ट्राई नहीं करेंगे तो हमें कैसे पता चलेगा ये हमें एक्साइट भी करता है कि नहीं करता है. और कुछ चीजें जो स्टैंड आउट हो रही हैं आपकी शेयरिंग से, क्लियरली आई कैन सी दैट नो लर्निंग और नॉलेज गोज is waste of time. You can never know what you learned or what you spent your energy and time in just figuring out if it excites me or not. Even that can come handy in future in some area and form which surprises us also. And it can be a benefit for the organizations too. If the message also I'm taking from your journey is that companies need to open up. People who have diverse background, people who have diverse talents, they are actually able to add more value and bring newer perspectives to, along with those people who may have had a constant continuity in doing one job and going deeper into that. And मुझे खुद का experience याद है because मैंने काफी diverse areas में काम किया है. और there was a conversation I was having with somebody whom I had worked with in the past. And this person told me that, I really admire the way you have shaped your profession and career, because now the need is more of people in the organizations who can handle diverse situations. And that can happen only when you have diverse experiences. So it made me feel really good at that time because this person was very senior to me in HR space in the organization back then when I was building my career as, HR coach and consultant in the organizations. Another question that comes to my mind, Tarveen, from your experiences and the sharing that you have just done, and my work with women, when I'm helping them redefine their careers, find their options, and keep going, and how to reconstruct their CVs and position themselves appropriately, is I hear lack of confidence. कि मैंने इतने साल काम नहीं किया है, अब मैं जाऊंगी, मुझे आदत नहीं है लोगों के साथ बात करने की, मुझे वॉलंटियरिंग से स्टार्ट करना चाहिए. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो हिचक आ जाती है. या आई हैव नॉट वर्कड इन स्ट्रक्चर टाइम, getting up in the morning, getting ready, going to work, having multiple meetings along with the management of house. I feel overwhelmed only. Or, it could just merely be, have I lost it? Do I still have those skills in me? Is my experience still valid in the market? So there are all these doubts that mothers, women go through, even though they know they did take those decisions in time. For those women who may be holding themselves back, what's your message? What are the tips and suggestions that you can give to them?
Right. Few things I would like to say. There are two, three different things. One, when you're looking back into starting your job, as I mentioned earlier, do not restrict yourself to only few options. अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि आपको एक फुल टाइम जॉब पे जाना है, तो प्लीज आप अपनी सर्च बढ़ाओ, आप अपने ऑप्शंस बढ़ाओ, अपने आप को रिस्ट्रिक्ट मत करो. ओके, एक्सप्लोर डिफरेंट ऑप्शंस, दैट्स वेरी यूजफुल. बेस्ट वही होता है कि जो टाइप का आप काम करते थे पहले, उसी से मिलता जुलता काम. बट do not think that it might be the same level of the organization. Okay, please keep yourself open up to a different organization also. And when I say that, I mean to say, don't just go for an MNC. You can go to a different equally private companies, other type of companies, categories of companies, and you have to be open to that. Dusra, as I said, be open to the idea of working with or reporting it to someone who is junior to you. Be open with that. And third, and the most important thing, Navita, you know, coming back with my experience also, and as you said, that typical एक fear जो रहता है सब में, please ask for help. कभी कभी क्या होते हैं ना, हम अपने उसमें ईगो में आ जाते हैं कि हम हेल्प नहीं लेंगे. आस्क, जब तक आप मुंह नहीं खोलोगे किसी को समझ नहीं आएगा. So be clear at that point of time. So when I started my full time career option, two two people, my organization, the person who interviewed me, finally I said I need 6 months to get settled. In that 6 months there would be 1 or 2 days when I would say that I'm not able to come because of some issues. But this 6 months, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that I'm going to take a holiday every day. I was very clear. I said, but there would be instances because I am trying to settle down things again into a flow. But I will never give you any day wherein you would have regret of hiring me. And the second person, my husband, I said, I need 6 months from you also, because you are helpful, but now I need more help from you because I'm trying to write down, settle down into this new career. This is new only, we can say, after 9 years with the new role as a mother and starting. I said, I need your help. But had I not opened up, had I not told them, then I would constantly be in push to prove my best. I eased myself out. I said nothing. अभी prove नहीं करना, अभी काम करना है. काम करना है, comfort से करना है. So let me ask for help when I need it. So there were times my husband had to pick up my child from the daycare. There were times when he was doing the cooking part, so he supported me over there. Again, my organization also supported me because I had told them previously Saturdays was working over there. My son had an off. My husband was working also on a Saturday. So they said, bring your child to the office, not an issue. So Saturdays I used to bring my son to the office, work, and I had my routine for him also, keep him engaged. So that way things went in a very good flow, in a positive way. But generally क्या होता है कि as women we try to restrict ourselves. We try to say नहीं, मैं तो कर लूंगी, मुझे तो नहीं करनी. क्यों नहीं? हेल्प मांगो. जब तक आप बोलोगे नहीं, कोई नहीं हेल्प करने वाला. And if you have that thing of clarity, I'm sure you'll be able to step again and start your career, and things will go. And thankfully, Navita, these days there are so many options which was not there at back when I had restarted my career. So it's just a matter of telling yourself that yes, I can again start and I can again come back into that role and pursue my career.
Hmm. Yes. So, few things which really stand out for me is one, decide on the options that you would like to explore and don't keep yourself limited. Go all out, open your horizons. Also, another factor that's coming out is comparison. Don't compare the people that you're going to be working with. Are they lesser age, lesser experience, more experience? Focus on your work, focus on your commitment and what you bring as a value to the organization. And that's what matters, because our experiences never go waste. Last but not the least, the most important point is that we can get into the zone of taking on everything on our own. That need to be a perfect mother, a perfect wife, a perfect professional, you know and a perfect daughter. This continues to play on, but when we ask for help, not only we are helping ourselves, we are actually helping our family members to set into a new routine, a new rhythm, setting expectations right. It's like before the rocket takes off, there is an ignition phase that is there. That is true
Right.
for us also as human beings. And that ignition phase has to be handled well. I think you did really good in being aware of those needs and also sharing those expectations from the organization. It was a blessing that you got a space where you did get that support from everyone around you, to meet your aspirations and meet your dreams. It has been fantastic to hear all these views and thoughts that you've been sharing. And one thing which is standing out very clearly is that if you really want to make it happen, don't get stopped, keep going. Before we let you go today and conclude this interaction, are there any parting words, anything else that you would like to share?
Yes, Navita, just a thought, which for all the ladies who might be thinking also, if they're watching this video, please do not go into a guilt factor. Whatever you do, give your best shot because that's the moment. So be honest to yourself, give your 100% to whatever you're doing. Stop making yourself always into that guilt, coming out of it, punishing yourself. Don't do that. And apart from that, I would like to thank you, Navita, and Unakriti team for having me today on your show. And I'm actually, so happy to have this conversation. And I definitely hope, through your platform, there are other women who would be equally motivated to, resume their careers and take the decision and jump back into their, career paths. Thank you so much, Navita. Wishing
Thank
you all the
you.
best.
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing with us. It was an equal pleasure for us to have you and share your journey. And to all those women out there who have taken conscious or situational decisions to stay away from work for many years, if something is holding you back, whether it is lack of confidence, lack of experience, not knowing how to leverage your experience or explorations during the time that you had been away from work, Tarveen's journey does give you a view that it's possible to break those chains and step out and create meaningful career opportunities back in the corporate world that you had left behind before. And opportunities are there if you position yourself, identify what excites you, at the same time, are able to set expectations and seek help. So, before we conclude this episode, remind yourself you still have those capabilities and competencies. All you need to do is decide and get out there. So, till the time we come back with another person who will share their journey of exploring multiple potentials, continue to tap your avatars and do subscribe to us for all our updates. See you very soon. Bye bye for now.